and welcome to Discover with Sbenati, to another wonderful episode. I'm your host, Dr. Sbenati, and today we have a very, 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 very special guest, just like all my guests are very, very special. And her name is Linda. Now, Linda, excuse me for a second, and for those who are listening, excuse me as well. How do you say your last name?
Bertucci.
Bertucci.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Linda Bytyqi, actually almost sounds Italian.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Okay. So Linda Bytyqi, she's here. She is a real estate tycoon. Like, you'll hear her story and it is phenomenal. She achieved a lot in a matter of 4 years. She went from zero to owning and running a $10 million real estate holding company. She is an author. She wrote a book. And she has an online retail business, and there's something else that I'm missing. She's taking London by storm, and she's not stopping anytime soon. In this podcast, what you're going to learn, for those of us that are tuning in with their, if you're listening with your car, or listening as you're walking your dog, or you're even tuning in on YouTube. Okay, she's going to go through certain things. She's going to go through her strategies, like literally something tangential, something that you can actually hold and actually do from today, so you can achieve the things that she's achieved. And she's going to go through them step by step. And believe it or not, I actually learned from her as well. And I've learned quite a bit, and I've already started to apply them. So without any further ado, I know you guys are really looking forward to hearing these things. I just want to say one more thing. She wrote a book, and her book is called From Poverty to Prosperity. She should have said in a matter of 4 years, but there's only so much you can put on the title of the cover. So without any further ado, Linda, did I introduce you properly?
Yes.
Okay. So Linda, I want to go straight into the meaty things. Okay. So you described your journey on how basically you've gone through quite a bit to get to where you are today.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've said quite a bit of the things that you've achieved to this point, but just run us through kind of a summary, a synopsis of what you're involved in right now.
What I'm doing right now?
Yeah, what you're involved in right now.
Okay, well, first I want to thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thank you for being on.
So what I'm doing right now is I am a co-founder or co-owner of a company called Pinton Investments, and that's a holding real estate company. So we hold about 10 million in real estate, and it ranges from multifamilies all the way to about almost a 50-unit property that we're about to close on in December. So it's grown exponentially, and then the other company I co-own is called Pinton Organization. And what that is also kind of a holding company, but it's also like a management company that manages our properties. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of it goes hand in hand. Another company I own is called Linda International Corp. And what we do there is we buy small to medium-sized businesses and we scale them up with the marketing strategies that we have. So I did start off that corporation or business on my own, starting off with building these companies, online retail. And then I started just to learn online, and then I just started to, after all the income that I was bringing into those online businesses, I just saved and then purchased an online business, one that I see that's a huge potential, and I can grow the income and overall value of the business. Aside from all of those three companies, I do public speaking. I'm just actually getting into it. Wrote my book recently, Poverty to Prosperity, which is a step-by-step process of how I got to where I am. So if anyone is stuck or if anyone doesn't really know how to get started in real estate, I literally let you know in that book. I give quite a bit of information there. And then I have online courses as well. So people that can't really afford the one-on-one coaching or consulting, they will just take my Real Estate for Beginners course or Real Estate for Advanced course or Personal Development course, because I'm really into real estate, personal development, and online businesses.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I didn't even know about those courses.
Right. Well, I mean, they're just something that I kind of do on the side. I probably come out with one every 3 months, every 4 months.
Wow.
Working on a personal development course right now.
And you have a website that people can go to?
Yep, just my name.
Okay.
My full name, lindabytyqi.com.
lindabytyqi.com. Is this also something that they can see on YouTube?
Yeah, so I share quite a bit of things on YouTube. Yeah, I guess I make YouTube videos too quite often, about 2 times a week. Yeah, I share a lot of content on my YouTube channel, a lot, when it comes to motivational.
And it's also Linda Bytyqi as well? Okay.
Motivational, real estate, business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you spell Bertucci?
Bytyqi.
B-Y-T-Y-Q-I.
Yep.
Too easy. B-Y-T-Y-Q-I.
Yes.
I'm just saying it so people can actually...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's easy as you say it multiple times.
Yes. Okay. So, wow.
Yes, I have quite a few things on the go.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I'm just trying to absorb it because it's just so much, and you just seem very nonchalant, like very kind of like laid back, very like
Calm,
easygoing,
collected.
very calm. But
I have lots of challenges though throughout these businesses, but you learn along the way how to stay calm and deal with things and learn how to resolve issues.
Okay. So that's what I'm segueing into.
Okay.
So then how do you, with all these things that are going through, or that you're going, and it's not like you're doing them on a miniature scale.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're doing them on a top-notch scale where you're projecting yourself as being the best in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to just do something, but it's extremely hard to do something where you're the best at it. So how do you manage all of that while still maintaining a smile on your face?
So I read tons of books. I don't read them physically anymore. I just listen to the audiobooks because I go through it once a week. I read a book a week usually. I read this book called Emotional Intelligence, and that book kind of just switched my thinking, switched my how I react to things, because at the beginning of real estate, I didn't really know how to solve these problems because I was having a lot of issues with tenants not paying rent or tenants not taking me seriously because I was only like 21 years old at that time. And I just wasn't taken seriously by other investors, like potential partners. So I just wanted to kind of present myself as a really great businesswoman, make myself look a lot older than I am by dressing or by just speaking. So I went to tons of seminars, listened to people, how they speak and what they do in their business, and just kind of implemented it with myself and my daily habits. And I just study highly successful people too and see what they do, and then I also implement it, which has worked very well for me, which I'll discuss later on. But books essentially is the key for me. Emotional Intelligence really did it for me. I read it 3 times just because it gives you examples of situations that people go through on a daily basis and how you should react to certain things. So now when I have an issue, I do not react to it right away. I take a step back and I actually wait about, 30 minutes to make an actual solid decision. So in that 30 minutes, I will stay calm, collected. I will think about what I want to do next and what steps to take. And then I will maybe even write things down, the pros and the cons of the situation, and then I will approach it then. And I'm always calm in that state. I'm always in a good, calm state of mind when I do that.
Okay, so and how do you, is that how you're, and I know the story, your story, but I am still going to ask this question.
That's okay.
Is this something that you gained from your parents or from your friends? Like, how did you start thinking that way in terms of, I need to think more logical rather than emotional?
No. I was very angry. I was depressed. I was suicidal, all of the above. I was not at a state of mind where I was calm all the time. I was actually the total opposite. So.
Okay. So you went from being a tornado in your mind to being very calm in your mind, but a tornado to the world around you.
Yeah.
Because you're basically, you're taking everyone by storm.
Yeah, and I kind of want this to come out because a lot of people go through certain situations.
Yes.
I was going through a very tough time with my father. I don't know if your audience knows or not, but I was, abused very severely, sexually, mentally, physically, and that really drained me, that traumatized me, and I was just going through all of that. So when we left him, I just went downhill. I just went angry. I started fighting people. I started hitting men all the time for no reason. Even if they just slightly touched me, I would just, it would trigger me and I would go crazy. So that's kind of like, you need to view that more as a positive now, because that actually shapes you to who you are today. So in a way, I am kind of grateful that it happened, and whoever is going through a hard time needs to realize that it's just a phase in your life, and you can either choose to go the direction I went to, which is downhill, or you can choose to uplift yourself and motivate yourself from those situations and become something.
But you did both.
I did both.
So what I'm really intrigued in is that, so you've experienced all these hardships, and when I introduced you as someone who basically has gone through the nightmares of nightmares in anyone's life, like whether you're a parent, whether you're the actual daughter, or the individual, okay, or whether you're an onlooker, your story highlights the worst that anyone can actually encounter, from abuse, sexual abuse, to depression, to you even mentioned, I know now, not now, but before, you mentioned that you even had some drug addiction too. So you went through like the whole rigmarole of the worst that anyone can go through, and then you now are at the top of the, if you want to say, food chain of where people want to get to. So how did you experience that? Like, how did you experience
that transition?
Yeah, it's not even a transition. So you went from coping negatively to now coping positively. What made that connection?
So it's simple. It's like, it's really not that tough. It takes a person to believe in you. It takes people around you. So I was surrounded with very negative people. I was surrounded by people that dragged me down, that talked negative about me, that just said I wouldn't go anywhere in life, because I didn't do well in school. I was even brought down by teachers, and it really like stuck in my mind that I couldn't do anything. I had literally 50s, like I just passed high school. But so when I was in college, I met this real estate investor, and I shared with him my goals, which I have never shared with anyone else, because again, nobody would believe me, and they would never think I could achieve those goals. So when I shared these huge goals, he's like, well, that's 100% achievable. And it was just mind-blowing to me. I was like, what? And I thought he was like pranking me, or I thought he was just saying that to say that to be nice, but it just takes that one person to really believe in you and to see that potential in you. So after that, he said, have you ever gone to a seminar? And I said, well, I'm like, what are those? And he's like, well, it's just surrounded by motivating people that uplift you and you can learn off of, and they're highly successful people. And I was like, no, but I would love to go. So I went to a seminar, my first one, and I was blown away. It was a whole new world I never knew existed, eye-opener for me. It was where I needed to be, and that's what changed my thinking, just that alone.
And which seminar was that?
It's Flipping for Profit. Actually, that was my mentor as well, still today.
And who is this?
Nav Singh.
Nav Singh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you recommend him for other people as well?
Yeah, like he's not cheap. I had 5,000 saved, and I just gave it all to him.
I find that such a nice story, because you said that you were working, and then
3 jobs.
Yeah, and then you had saved $5,000.
Yeah.
And all you had to your name was $5,000.
Yeah.
And then when you saw his seminar, or you saw that course, you said it was a 2-day course.
Yeah.
You saw it, and you said, well, yeah. And
Yeah.
so you took everything that you had and you invested it in
Yeah.
there, and your emotions and your everything that you had, basically, you put it into that.
And this is why when I went to those seminars and I was just so uplifted and motivated by these people, I knew that this was the route I wanted to go. Real estate really intrigued me. I kept looking at homes, and to me, I was so scared to go back to how I used to be. I did not want to go there. So I had a very high risk tolerance. I'm like, if this guy can get me to the next level, I'm doing it. So yeah, I had only 5,000 saved after years of working and going to school, and I gave it all to him, and I learned a lot with it. And it was just 2 days. Like now I know there's so many other programs and like so many other real estate courses. So I'd recommend kind of easing your way in, going to cheaper ones and just learning like that, because his was way more advanced and just kind of teaching you creative ways. But that is how I started, and that is how I learned.
Did you feel that you were lost though when you went to that?
Very. I was very lost. But he does give you the binder that has everything that he was teaching. He does follow up with you to make sure you're on track as well. So he does hold you accountable.
So you were held accountable after that course was done?
Yeah.
And so he was following up with you, making sure that you were doing certain things?
Yeah, he also has these field trips where he goes to these properties and he takes you along with you. So he takes his students along with him and he shows them, this is what I do, these are the kind of properties I look for. And so that was really helpful because it was hands-on as well. And that's after the course.
Okay.
I think that lasts about 6 months.
So that was included as part of that 5,000?
Yeah, there's quite a bit included.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
not
awesome.
just the 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, it was an investment of a lifetime.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay, so now, you've gone through all this stuff, and you said the one thing that really made a big difference was you investing in that course. My question is that what got your mind to think in that direction? How come you didn't go into like getting restaurants, or how come you didn't go into like something else?
Yeah, because I was in restaurants and I was doing a bunch of different things. What got me thinking was this: everyone will experience this, and if you haven't already, you will. You need to hit that rock bottom, and I hit that rock bottom at an early stage. Thank goodness. My rock bottom was this one night. I was really drunk, and I was prescribed like 5 different pills to take every day. One of them was sleeping pills, really high intense sleeping pills, because I couldn't sleep. So I was drunk one day, and I just didn't want to live. I was very suicidal. And I just didn't see much else in my life. So I just wanted to I guess, attempt. So I took a sleeping pill and I swallowed it. And I was scared for my life. And
because you were drunk.
Yeah, I was drunk and I was scared for my life. And I knew, I had an idea that I thought I was not going to wake up in the morning. I was terrified. That's when I knew I didn't really want to die. I wanted to live. So that was my rock bottom. When I woke up the next morning, I was as grateful as can be. I was like so happy. I was being so nice. I was like, I need to do something. So then I started going to school. That's actually when I got into college. And that's when I decided to stay away from those negative people, because I hit my rock bottom. So I think when you hit a rock bottom is when you kind of will transition your mind a little bit, at least, to wanting to do something more.
That's what it is.
Yeah, rock bottom.
That's what it is.
Like even, I've...
Because you became grateful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you actually saw that gratitude in hitting you in your face.
Yeah.
Right.
Because and then I did everything I could to not get at that point.
Right.
And it all starts down there.
Wow. Yeah. So that's really, really empowering. Mm-hmm. That's really empowering. And the thing that I find it really empowering too is that you didn't let the societal standards of women don't achieve as much as men, women have all these tough obstacles. You didn't let any of that influence you. You just went like a train and you just barged through everything. There's
one thing, I want to express my thoughts on the women and men thing. A lot of women, I feel like they're just so emotional based. And I'm a woman and I'm saying this. I think a lot of women just react sometimes, like overreact to, and they're just so emotional where they let the man kind of like hold them back in a way. But
the idea of the man.
Then they complain about it. Mm-hmm. And to me it's like, why are you complaining about it? Why don't you actually go do something? Like, stop thinking like that. Stop thinking, oh, men control this space, men control this career. Because if you worked hard enough, you could also control that career or space. Because real estate is very male dominated a little bit, like especially investing in real estate. You'll see a lot of older women invest in real estate, but not so much younger women. And there are some. But it is very male dominated, but I never think of that. I never think, oh, is this guy going to treat me right? Is this guy going to take me seriously? If he doesn't take me seriously, I just move on to the next and I go to someone else. And that's how I think. I don't think emotionally like that, because that would hold me down. That would not help with my accomplishments or my goals.
Have you always been like that? Or was it after you watch all these seminars?
Honestly, I never thought, oh, males are just more dominant. I just never thought that way. I guess I have. But even just getting into business and going to seminars full of males and females, and then my mentor was a male. He believed in me, so I actually thought very highly of males, and never as, oh, they're the most dominant ones.
And you're a proof to that, right? Because you're taking over a lot of spaces that usually are male dominant spaces, but you're taking over.
Advice to females there a little bit.
There you go. That's awesome. Okay, so then outline to us the strategies that you're taking right now, the key strategies that you're taking right now to, let's say, stay motivated, stay on track, because we all have ups and downs.
Yep.
And how you overcome your day-to-day struggles.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, I'm not always motivated. There's days that I won't get anything accomplished, and those days are usually if I don't do my to-do list. So I actually have daily strategies that I implement every single day to make sure I'm on track, focused, and I guess I'll discuss that right now. So one thing I do is to-do lists. So that's just a little, a little notebook that I get from the dollar store. And what I do there, I write everything down that I need to accomplish that day. And it's like even small things, like go to the gym, eat healthy, or like big things like contact my lawyer, hand in things for my lawyer. Whatever it is, I write it down. Usually it's 1 to 2 pages full of things that I need to do. I don't accomplish all of it throughout one day because that would take a long time. But I have it there so I know what I need to do, and then I number them important to least important. So that's one thing that really does keep me on track. So that's what keeps me focused and on track.
And you do this every single day?
Every day. I haven't really missed it. Well, I've missed a couple days throughout the 4 years, but yeah, essentially every day, the night before the next day. So the next morning, I'm not like scrambling around, what do I need to do, what do I need to do? So I just do it the night before, so I'm fresh and ready to go for the next day. Aside from that, I do my weekly goals. There's a lot of goals oriented in this talk. So I do my weekly goals, and weekly goals are the top 7 things that are the most important, no ifs, ands, or buts, that need to get done that week.
Top 7.
Top 7.
So
I used to do top 5, but then I was like, I have a little bit more, so I do the top 7 things.
Is it one for every day of the week?
No.
Okay.
It's just that week. What I need to get done that week, no matter what.
Okay.
It could be like finishing a course, launching a course, or finishing my book, or anything really. So top 7 things I need to get done that week. I do that every Sunday evening, so it's ready to go for the week. So that's another thing that keeps me focused. Another thing that keeps me kind of on track, on schedule, is my calendar. So my calendar is super important because I will always miss appointments. If I book an appointment through the phone, through text, and I don't write it down on my calendar, I will 110% miss your appointment. So I have to write it down in order to keep on track, because I just have a lot of things to do, and I recommend people that do have multiple things to do to definitely do the calendar. Aside from that, I also do my yearly goals, and as you can kind of see now, it's kind of like it helps you throughout the year. So yearly goals I do usually a month before the new year. So I'll do that in December.
Coming up very soon.
Yep. So I will analyze my whole year first, and I'll see how much I got done, how much I've accomplished, what I could have done better the next year. It's just more like a self-evaluation, and just kind of like push myself to the next level. So my next year's goals will be even higher and will be even more challenging for me to achieve. And this is important because you want to always challenge yourself. You want to make yourself feel uncomfortable, because if you're in a comfortable state, you're going to stay that way and you'll be the same. So yearly goal is something I have to do every year. And that's more for motivation, and it keeps me focused. But when I view them, I'm just like, okay, like this year is going to be good if I finish all this. So it keeps me, grounded, and it keeps me motivated. Aside from that, I do my 5 to 10 year vision board, and I don't just post pictures up. I used to do that. Now what I do is I post pictures up, but then underneath I will write a description, a very detailed description of what it is. So if it's like a mansion, I could say I want a 10-bedroom, 5-car garage house. And then that's what I'll write underneath the photo. And then I will give myself, maybe. Probably not. It's in the US.
Okay.
And then I will write a time frame. So I'll say, like, it doesn't have to be the exact time frame. It could be the year. So I'll say, I don't know, 2025. 2025? Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, the reason why I picked California is because you have a post.
I know, that was such a beautiful mansion.
Yeah. Sorry, go on. Go on.
No,
So,
probably in Toronto somewhere.
okay, good.
So that's what I do with my vision board. I'm very detailed, very, very detailed. Write dates down, exact car I want, the exact amount of people I want to help, where I want to help people. Like I want to adopt like 5, 6 kids. So the exact countries. Well, I don't know the exact countries yet, but I need to still think of that. But I do. You just have to be very specific because you have to visualize where you're going to be 5 to 10 years from now, and it really does work in your subconscious mind. It's a whole thing about the subconscious mind, but when you visualize and you view these photos every single day, it helps you stay very motivated, at least for me. So as you can see, like daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and then eventually we'll...
And then the 5-10 year.
Yeah.
Or did you describe it as 10-25 year?
No,
5-10 year.
5 to 10, and it will change as the years go by. Every 5 years, I will update it slightly.
Okay. So then you're saying, so I'm just going to get into specifics. So then you're saying you post pictures. Where do you post them? Is it on the computer?
Oh, sorry. So it's on just a Bristol board. It's
Bristol
an
board,
actual
okay.
physical Bristol board.
Okay.
I actually have a YouTube video exactly how I did it. So just go to the dollar store, Bristol board, post the photos that you want on there, and then write underneath the photos, so leave some space, and write underneath what you want to.
So you have a timeline.
Yeah.
In that Bristol board.
Yeah.
Right, and you have per year.
Yeah.
What you want to achieve every year?
No,
Okay,
it's just the 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so you label it as 5 to 10 years, and then you put everything on there.
What you want 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Where you see yourself
Okay.
in 5 to 10 years.
So do you say 5 to 10, or do you give yourself a specific date? Like a specific year?
Yeah, so for the photos underneath, I will give the specific years. So the years will are going to be different for each photo.
Okay.
But it's within the 5 to 10 years.
I got you. Okay. And did you start this right away 4 years ago? Like, so was it from the get when you were talking to your mentor and you started doing that right away, or did you gradually start doing that?
Gradually, because I still had a lot to learn. I did start my vision board right away. So I did start that. Then I started doing my calendar because I had, quite a bit of things going on, so I needed to keep track. And then I think the second year in, to-do list 2, I did that right away. Actually, 2 years ago is when I started to do my weekly. And then the yearly I've always done too. So, yeah. That was more from my mentor. He just, I asked him, how do you stay on track? And he just shared exactly what he did. And then I went to, I listened to Tony Robbins, and I go to...
Because a lot of things that you're saying sounds like what Tony Robbins suggested.
Yeah. I really analyze him and study him. So he does a lot of the stuff. That's right. So I just copy it.
He calls it Hour of Power.
Yep.
Right? Yes. That's awesome. And it's actually one thing to listen to something, and it's a totally different thing to see someone applying the thing that you listen to.
There's so many people that go to seminars. 90% of those people do not do anything.
Right.
It's insane. Yeah. And the reason why is because they're not writing notes down. You can't, because there's a lot of information at these seminars. You can't just leave thinking you're going to know exactly what happened. There's no way. Either record it, is what I kind of do, or kind of organize it in your notebook because you want to implement it. That's the only way you can make a change. You can, so a lot of people get motivated all crazy and wild up, but they're back to square one.
And then it dies down after a week or so. Okay. But then what you do is you take notes, you record it.
Yep.
And you go home and you review it.
Yeah.
Okay, you become obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think you're so obsessed with becoming successful and actually achieving what you want to achieve that you're not letting anything distract you or coming in your way.
And there's no way I'm going back to my past either.
And there's no way to go back to your past, to that single night where you described yourself as you just wanted to end it. And then next day when you said to yourself, I'm not going back there. That's amazing. Yeah. Now, where do you see yourself? There you go. We're going to discuss your vision board. Okay, so where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
So I do see myself having quite a large family, probably 6 to 10 years from now, or 5 to 10 years from now. And I want kids all over the country. I want different, I guess Angelina Jolie is as everyone describes it, but I want 5 different kids from 5 different countries. Countries that are struggling. I don't want to just adopt. I want to save children. I want to better their life. And so essentially these kids will be from places in poverty. And I have a real passion for that, and because I came from it, and I know there's much more to it. So that's one goal. I might have one naturally just to experience it. I don't know. That's one goal. And then, and aside from like these luxury lifestyle things like a house, cars, I want really nice cars. I'm really into those. Aside from all that, I also want to build an organization or a foundation where we can help kids, families in poverty by building them schools, educating them with online businesses. So I actually want to fund them money as well to create their own business, kind of like teach them how to fish rather than just give them the fish. I really want to educate them in that aspect. So that's a huge, huge goal for me that I really want to achieve, and just building schools and homes alongside of that too. In terms of real estate, I want my real estate company to be $1 billion company in 10 years. So, and I'm going to have to do that by raising money, raising capital, kind of, just getting money from other people and just giving them a good return. So, and then aside from that, I just want to be known as a really highly successful speaker, so everyone, majority of the world, hopefully by that time, knows who I am and just implements what I say to their lives, and just start from there.
Wow.
That's some of them, I think. Yeah.
Wow. How do you put that into a picture?
I just envision myself where I want to be. I just think. I just think like, what motivates me? Where do I seriously see myself? I definitely see myself with all those kids. I definitely see myself helping people in poverty. Like, that's fulfilling to me. That's my purpose. And not only that, but like helping people in Canada and the US live a better life too. And then I definitely see myself traveling the world speaking. Like, that's just what I envision. And every year it might slightly change, but.
Okay. So here's a specific question. So a lot of these motivational speakers, they talk about how the wealthy people do it, and they say that they take 10% of their income and then they invest it or divest it into like charity. Mm-hmm. Do you do that?
Not yet,
okay.
But I do plan to do that because I've heard of that. Okay. Yeah. So 10% will go to charity, another 10% will go wherever. I have to still think of that. Yeah.
Okay. So my question was that how do you put, I want to be a $1 billion real estate holding company? How do you put that into a picture? Or do you just write down $1 billion on your vision board? Yeah,
so I guess kind of both ways, but I also see how much we grow as a company every year and see what we can do the next year, if we can maybe double it or triple it or 10x it, as Grant Cardone would say. And then I kind of just calculate everything over the 10 years. So if it reaches $1 billion, then that's kind of where it comes from. If it doesn't, then I kind of see along those years what can we implement that will reach it to $1 billion. And it might not be $1 billion company as long as it's kind of close to it. Mm-hmm. But that's essentially how I do it. And then I just write it up, put it up on my vision board.
That's awesome. Any more books that you want to write?
Yes, there's going to be a second one. I don't know exactly what about, but so many people are like, I want to learn more of, because I guess I don't talk a lot about the process of getting into real estate in my book. Mm-hmm. So they want to really know exactly the steps I took, like the exact information, because I do talk about how I got my first prop, but I don't go into detail. So I think I might make that kind of book, is to go really into detail of how I think what will
make it really interesting is going into the psychology of how to get into that stuff.
Yeah.
Because when people break out of their current psychology and adopt a new one, that's when things change.
Yeah, that's true.
But and that'll give you a lot of material to write on, because then you're reflecting on your own past.
Yeah.
And it'll be just you writing things down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that would be very helpful, and I think that's kind of what they say too.
Right. It's mindset.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
For sure. And since you're all into the self-improvement and motivation, stuff like that, you can incorporate that as part of your book. And there you go.
Yeah.
And so your first book, From Poverty to Prosperity, where can people get that?
Amazon. So if you just type in my full name, it should come up, or just type in Poverty to Prosperity. It should come up.
So what's your full name?
Linda Bytyqi.
Bytyqi. And it's Bytyqi.
Yes.
Okay. Bytyqi.
Yes.
Okay. And what's the background?
Kosovarian.
Kosovarian.
Yeah.
Okay.
From
Pure?
Kosovo. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is near Italy, so
Yes.
sounds Italian.
Yes. Bertucci. Okay, so it's Linda Bytyqi.
That's.
I know, but there's a website.
Oh yeah, lindabytyqi.com.
lindabytyqi.com. Okay, and you have a website, you've got YouTube, you've got your book. Anyway, what about your online retail?
Oh, well, that has nothing to really do with like what I'm doing. It's just a waist training company.
Okay.
So it's just whoever I target who wants
Okay,
a slimmer waist.
Okay. But do you want to tell?
Yeah, if anyone.
You want to tell the
So
audience?
it's just funny. If anyone wants to waist train, they can just go to wastedtogether.com.
Waist it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
W like waist though, like
Yes.
W.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Clever, right?
WASTE.
Yeah.
It's WAIST.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasted together.
Waist it together.
If you want a slim waist.
There you go. Waist it together. Okay, cool. Wow. Thank you so much for coming on. I know this will benefit a lot of people. I know for sure it will.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the next year or two. I hope you don't move out of London, but by the sounds of it, you will. But we'll see, right? And then hopefully you'll be back on the Discover with Sbenati, and you'll tell us a lot more.
For sure.
Okay.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those listening in, thank you so much. And for those that are tuning in on YouTube, thanks again. Make sure you tell your friends, make sure you comment and subscribe, and you give us feedback as to how we're doing and the kinds of questions that you want covered. We really appreciate those. Until next time, have a good one.